Hello everyone, welcome back to another speed build. Today I'm Mystifiq and I'm gonna show you guys this observatory that I've been working on. It's an observatory viewing point for my wildebeest, buffalo and Thomson Gazelle habitat right over here. And so I already did the pathing over here, but we do work on it a bit more in the speed build. But let's get right into the speed build right now. Alright, so over here you guys can see that's the basic pieces that I'm working with, and I'm just starting out with building the dome. So now if you guys don't know how to build a dome, I'm kind of showing it to you guys here, but if not, there are many dome tutorials or on YouTube, especially by D-Lay Designer, so I do recommend you check her out. That's how I learned how to build a dome in here. So yeah, you just see me using the pieces that I already built, but then you see there's that tiny gap right here that I didn't manage to perfectly conceal, I guess, when I was shifting all my pieces. So you do see me going back and forth again, you know, trying to figure out what is the right width or like spacing between each panels that I needed to get in order to close that awkward gap right there. So it's a lot of trial and error, I would say, when I was building a dome. And you know, don't give up, guys. It's possible to build a dome well. That's what I'll say. So I do fix it up over here, I think. Like, I think it's perfect right now. Yeah, so we do move it over. And it's kind of showing how, you know, I didn't actually account for how big the pathing would be. So you see me here trying to see, hey, can I actually fit everything in the dome? And I'm looking at over here, you know, does it look right? And I realized, okay, I think this is the best I can do to fit it. So I need to remove the path over here and fit the staircase back properly. Once again, it's a nightmare. That's what I'm gonna say. Working with the path here, especially having so many next to each other, the path just keeps clipping, but you know, we get through it. It's just showing you guys, you know, the process that I went through and how I kind of had to do a lot of redoing of things, I guess. So it shows that, you know, not everything you see on speed builds really, you know, are is perfect the first time we do it, right? There's a lot of having to go back and forth and seeing, okay, this is not working right now, what can I do to fix it, right? So this is not working, obviously. My width of my observatory was a bit too big, so yeah, I had to go back and do the path. And then you see I kind of actually removed the path over here, on top, I mean, and I also took away the observatory so I could just get a better viewing point what I'm doing. And I actually think this worked out even better than the first path I built, but obviously, you know, it did take a lot of time, especially having to build a path on top of another path. I do wish there was some easier mechanics, I guess, to be able to do so, but we get through it really. So yeah, I think a lot of going back and forth, trying to see, okay, which angle is the best to snap it. But I was pretty satisfied with it. And then we just shift the dome back, and I really liked how it turned out. And I kind of like the glass pieces that I used in here. So I'm just using up the modern glass pieces, the new world wood, some planks, and I think that's it, yeah, to just get the basic design of this dome. And I also wanted it to match the other buildings that I do have in Heartlands Zoo, so you know, the train station that I did and the canopy cove, going along with that theme. I really wanted to stick to this coherent theme, so you know, kind of looks like all the buildings are matching each other. And here again, going back with the path, a lot of path editing in this speed build, I would have to say, because you know, the part there was sticking out a bit too much, so I did have to go back and readjust it again, showing you guys, you know, it's okay for things not to be perfect the first time around. You know, it's like, you have to always try and see, right? If something's not working out, go back and fix it, I guess, or see, hey, is there something else I can do, you know? Especially with like the dome, you do realize that the tiny gaps that I left in between, you know, at certain parts of this video, I do have to cover it up because I didn't like it that the gaps were there, but that was the best I could do to get this dome to look like a dome. So you know, it's kind of a lot of thinking on your feet, I guess, or seeing what else can I do to make this build the way I want it to be. So a lot of pathing again. I do really go back and forth, but I thought it'd be nice to show you guys, you know, not everything is perfect the first time round. I don't get everything right the first time round, even if I do pre-plan everything. So we're just adding the logs. So I didn't want it to cover that part up, but you know, we don't really have wall pieces that are like half a size, like the half the width of that. So I needed to use logs. And then over here, I first actually thought of doing a like a tunnel entrance to this observatory. So you do see me here trying to work it out, you know, using this glass roofing again. But then I was like, okay, how do I connect it to those parts, right? Because the angle's not the same, and you know, I don't know if I wanted to go ahead and struggle trying to work the pieces, especially glass pieces, because they may not turn out to look so great when they are overlapping with each other. And you see, I do try and fit the wall in, and I decided, okay, let's not do that. Let's get rid of this glass tunnel idea. Let's just leave an open entrance to the dome. So I do widen the path over there instead to fit my new idea. And yeah, just see me lowering the wood columns because it doesn't make sense to go through the stairs. But yeah, so then I delete the roof, and over here is where I decide to take the I think this is the 1 meter wall piece, and put it back instead. And I thought, okay, this looks quite nice, so why don't I carry on and bring down the wooden planks as well, you know, trying to kind of give it an edging, I would say, to make it look more finished. So that's something you guys could do if you feel like you're missing something in your build. I would recommend using planks, columns, whatever, to just add to the bottoms of your construction building or your wall pieces or whatever. And then over here we just go back with the habitat fence rather. So I did use these wall pieces again because I wanted something different from the usual habitat fences that we do. So these are just construction pieces, and the animals would not be able to get over it. And I also do this and I leave it in only because, you know, to show you guys options as well that you could use for your habitats. You don't have to use the pre-made barriers that the game gives you. You can use construction pieces to actually make your own barriers. And the funny story, the thing is, when I was actually prepping this on my stream, I actually forgot to put the barriers back, and I hit play. So my buffaloes all escaped through the entrance over there, right where everyone else is standing, and I thought it was so funny. But here I am looking to see, can I change the flooring? What flooring do I like, you know? But then I decided to go back with the original because I didn't like any of it, and I didn't like that it would come up that far. Yeah, so I didn't want it like that. I wish it was just the circle and the extended part before it hits the main path that I could have changed, but I don't know how path systems work half the time, I guess. So I decided to just stick with the normal one, and you do see me hide a, what is it called? A be quiet sign. Yeah, so it does work, I think, if you hide it underground. And I don't know, it just didn't make sense to have it up because they are technically covered by glass, right? So the animals technically should not be able to hear them, but I don't know, I just thought maybe the animals still could hear them and be frightened, so I thought, okay, let's just hide it underground. And then over here you see me working on a garden section area because I thought, okay, what do I put in these awkward spaces, right? So why not we put garden, put plantation inside, make it look nice and pretty. I thought of using these soil patches, is this what it's called? I'm not too sure what these are called, but I tried, you know, seeing, okay, would this work out and stuff, right? Because it kind of looks like a flower bed kind of thing, but I don't know, I didn't like it that much. I didn't like that it was clipping through the stairs, and I would have to be using a lot of pieces, right? And I didn't want to add too many to this build, so in the end I decided, okay, I'm just gonna use the terrain paint to paint all of these corners or these empty spaces rather, and then get rid of the soil patches over there, and then put all the plantations on it. So yeah, just taking a look to see how it looks. I kind of like it over here, and then we go back into putting plants again. Once again, I do recommend, guys, to step back and look at your builds halfway while doing it, you know, just to see, is it the vision you're going for? Because sometimes we get too I guess absorbed in what we're doing up close that we don't look at the bigger build in a way, and then sometimes you realize, oh hey, I don't like how it's going anymore, you know, I don't like what I did. And I think, you know, having a lot of step backs at some point of time does help save I guess effort and time in doing something you don't like in the end. Yeah, so that's why I do that a lot, and I feel like it really helps as well, for me at least. Yeah, so you saw I was going through a lot of different gardening things. I was wondering, what can I put here? Is there a statue? Is there like a buffalo, gazelle, or wildebeest statue? And unfortunately, no. If not, I would have loved to put a statue right there. I just wish we had more statues of animals that I guess aren't popular in that sense. You know, we have a lot of giraffes, hippos, lions, etc. The more common animals, but we don't have ones that are not as common. So I wish there was more statues. Then I won't face this issue of like having nothing decorative, I guess, for certain habitats and enclosures. And I decided to put a tree like that only because it was a bit big, but it does make sense to, you know, put the tree clipping through it in that way, so it's not clipping through the glass, I mean. But it is, you know, I kind of feel like it gives that illusion that there's some bush on the inside, small ones, and then that same bush is also on the outside, but you know, we're only using one tree to create that illusion instead of several trees to create a bush, or like several bushes to create a bush, I suppose. Yeah, just going back, placing rocks and stuff. I think rocks are also a good way to hide gaps as well. I definitely use a lot of rocks to hide unsightly gaps, I would say. Yeah, so we're just going in with the African grassland flowers to match the animal's habitat, you know. And also because this is the Africa section, so I didn't want to use plants, I guess, that didn't fit the area, maybe. So I just like it for like being thematic, I suppose. Yeah, and then we go back in over here, you know, putting the what are these called? Education signboards and stuff, and railings, because if there are no railings, technically people could just fall off from the top floor. So I put the railings that the path gives us anyway, and I do kind of like these railings, so I thought, you know, I don't have to build my own. And actually these education signboards are made by me, so if you guys are interested in this design style, do let me know. I can upload this to the workshop as well, like the education signboards, for sure. Yeah, so we're just checking again, you know, seeing is everything right, does everything look nice from afar, and I'm like, yeah, I like it. And then here is where I start filling in those gaps in between each panel. So I thought, okay, how about white? Since we have white, let's do white, but it didn't look that great. So then in the end I was like, okay, how about this one instead? So, you know, it then presents another issue, right? It's sticking out from the bottom part, and that's because it's just too long, right, for it to flash nicely. So I thought, okay, since it's sticking out from the bottom part, what I could do is then bring down another plank, and you'll see me do that later, but bring it down so that it kind of flashes into it, so it doesn't look like it's just awkwardly hanging there. So that's an option, guys, for you as well, you know, showing you guys there are many options to solve your problems, you know. I think it's all about playing around, seeing what works, what doesn't work, so also not being afraid to try. If something does not work out, that's fine. If something does work out, that's great, you know, but I guess you would not have known if it would have worked or not if you didn't try it out in the first place. So that's what I like to do for myself. I like to see, okay, does something work? If it doesn't, that's fine, we'll get rid of it, we won't go back to that idea. But if it does work, great, then I can like replicate it in future builds as well. So yeah, so we're going just back, covering that awkward weird gap. I think it makes sense for the glass too, because it looks like it's the paneling, but between the wooden pieces, it I don't know, it just looked weird. So I really like this idea, and I didn't flush it down, these vertical columns. I left it jutting out a bit, and I think it adds a bit of dimension or like something different, so your whole build is not also just flat. But yeah, here is where I do show you guys. I go down and add these other horizontal column pieces to blend in with those that I just add. And right here, I think I start working on naming the observatory. So I like to put a name for what it's showing, and I put it by the way, like BTW kind of thing. It doesn't actually stand for by the way though. It's supposed to stand for buffaloes, Thomson Gazelle and Wildebeasts, but I thought it was kind of funny because it's like by the way. So this is just, I think this is the last part that I work on for this observatory. So this is like, I would say, a rather quick build. Yeah, since we're just working on the name over here, I like to give names to my habitat. So I do have a giraffe, zebra, ostrich habitat, and I called it Zog. No reason or why it's called Zog, it's just that based on the acronym, so like the first letters of the animals, Zog is like the best sounding instead of like Gauze or like Ozg. Yeah, so we're just getting the observatory sign as well, you know, just to let people know it's an observatory. And then yeah, Planet Zoo was like, oh, we're gonna start our maintenance soon. I was like, okay, well, at least I'm almost done with the build, so I don't have to worry about the maintenance interrupting this build. And yeah, just adjusting the sign because, you know, it didn't make sense for it to be floating in the air like that, so I thought I make it flush against the wall. And then we bring the BTW sign upwards, and then I thought, okay, you know, white looks a bit plain, maybe let's put green. So that's what we did over here. And I'm just checking once again, and yo, we're at the screenshots, like, I mean the final video. I keep calling these screenshots, I don't know why, but just showing you guys, this is how it looks like in the game. I really like it. I don't know, imagine if like a buffalo or a gazelle or wildebeest is like right in front of you there. I think that would be so cool to see. Man, it makes me want to go to the zoo again. Looking at this, I feel like going to the zoo as well. Yeah, so this is just the upper levels showing you guys. It's not as popular, I would say, but you know, you could change this to a one-way, not one-way, but like a one-level observatory as well. You don't have to have it double level, so there's options for this as well. Yeah, it's just showing you guys, you know, from within the habitat, that's what it will look like. Like, that's what the animals will see. I don't know if they will get afraid or shy because, you know, it is this, but yeah. And this is the final viewing of it. So thank you guys so much for watching the speed build today. I really do hope you guys enjoy the observatory and how it looks. Once again, this is on the workshop, so do head on over, and thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye.